At the turn of the millennium, gladiators had become a global phenomenon. Originating in the United States and becoming a huge Saturday night staple in the UK throughout the 1990s, the format had proven itself to be a winner with TV audiences, and before long, international versions began appearing across Europe, Africa, and beyond, each adapting the format to suit local audiences while keeping the core spirit of Gladiators intact. With Series 3 of the UK BBC reboot just getting started, I thought it would be fun to take a look back at one of the lesser-known international versions, Nigerian Gladiators. Sponsored by telecoms giant MTN and broadcast all across Africa, the Nigerian adaptation brought its own energy, presentation style, and cultural flavor to the Gladiators arena. Featuring a powerful cast of homegrown gladiators, dramatic events inspired by the original format, and an incredible arena atmosphere, the show stands as a fascinating example of how an already iconic TV format could be reimagined for a new audience. In this video, we're taking a look back at Nigeria's MTN Gladiators, exploring how the show followed the original Gladiators format, how it differed, the events and presentation style, the Gladiators themselves, and where it sits within the broader history of the franchise. If you enjoy these kind of deep dives into international game shows, it would mean the world if you could give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Now let's step into the arena as we take a look at the story of Nigerian Gladiators. Gladiators first appeared on television in the African continent in the form of the original MTN Gladiators in South Africa. Gladiators from South Africa had participated in the second International Gladiators series in the UK, as well as the first Springbok Challenge tournament, and as its popularity grew, work on a domestic series got underway, eventually debuting in 1999. South African MTN Gladiators deserves a video in its own right, so stay tuned for a deep dive into that sometime in the future. But in this video, we're taking a look at the second MTN Gladiators in Nigeria. The series was filmed at the National Stadium in Lagos, and judging by the look of the arena, I believe filming took place inside the indoor sports hall adjacent to the main arena. The first thing you'll notice when you watch the show is just how similar the arena looks to the UK version. The space they had to work with was certainly a lot smaller than the National Indoor Arena in Birmingham, but they did a really great job of recreating the main stage area with the walls on either side, as well as the overall look and feel of the show. It does have quite a dark feel to it with not a lot of lighting, but I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. And the crowds they got in for the audience are wild, very loud, and always dancing. The series was presented by brothers Rich and Ken and Ta, who I feel did an incredible job of bringing energy and excitement to the show. It definitely comes across how proud they were hosting MTN Gladiators.
Hi, I'm Ken.
And I'm Rich.
And you're very welcome to a fantastic episode of MTN Gladiators, brought to you by Mnet.
One thing I will say though is that they really enjoyed staring directly into the camera quite a lot.
The man here just proved to me that he's a very strong opponent, so I got to be very careful about what he's doing and what I'm doing too.
A referee for the series was South African Gladiator Warrior, who took absolutely no prisoners, and alongside him was the timekeeper, fellow South African Gladiator Shadow.
Contender, you are disqualified, you are not allowed to cross to the Gladiator podium, so get down.
Oh, come on, Warrior, that's not fair.
What about the gladiators themselves then? Well, we have a total of 12 gladiators competing against the contenders in this series, 6 male gladiators and 6 female gladiators, some of whom have very interesting names. For the female gladiators, we have Breeze, Falcon, Jaguar, Razor, Sapphire, and Terminator. And for the male gladiators, we have Bulldozer, Cobra, Hippo, Hot Dog, Titanic, and T-Rex. Hippo and Hot Dog are certainly very interesting names for gladiators. Each gladiator would also have their own entrance with theme music, which definitely helps to add a little character to the show.
Bulldozer! Well, you heard it. Here comes the Bulldozer, and according to our polls, the kids just love him.
A lot of times this music was actually a cover version of a well-known track, likely due to the network not being able to license the original songs.
Here comes the T-Rex, Ken.
Well, this big man says he has a very soft heart for the kids, but he's hard-hearted against the contenders.
Alongside the Gladiators were the G-Force cheerleaders who would cheer on the Gladiators and contenders throughout the show. In terms of the overall format of the series, there were 13 episodes in total. Episodes 1 to 6 were round 1, episodes 7 to 10 were round 2, episodes 11 and 12 were the semi-finals, and then episode 13 was the grand final. However, some of the winning contenders from round 1 never returned again, and in fact some of the losing contenders from round 1 were somehow given a place in round 2. My assumption with this is that a few of the winning contenders were not able to continue with the show, perhaps due to injury or some other reason, and the show decided to put forward a few of the losing contenders instead. Most notably, the two female contenders from the very first episode in round 1 met again in the very first episode of round 2. From round 2 onwards though, everything is as you would expect, with the winners going through a knockout bracket to decide the series champion. The winners of the series will receive $1,500 US, a TV set-top box and a 1-year television subscription, and the losers will go away with a new mobile phone. When it comes to the events the contenders and gladiators would compete in, there were a total of 8 different events, 5 of which would be played in each episode, the last of course always being the Eliminator. First we have Demolition Run, which is exactly the same as Hit and Run. Contenders have to race back and forth across the bridge, earning 2 points for each successful crossing, all the while avoiding the gladiators who are attempting to knock them off with giant demolition balls. This is always a fun event to watch, and I kinda wish the UK BBC series would change Collision back to this.
Well, Zoza has a hard act to follow. He's also looking to accumulate points. Oh my goodness, the boxer goes down. He must be terribly disappointed.
Next is Suspension Bridge, which conveniently uses the same setup as Demolition Run. 1 contender versus 1 gladiator, and the aim is simple. Use the giant hammerhead to knock the other off.
Oh no, he stands firm, and finally, a blow to the back does it. T-Rex, totally relaxed.
We of course have the wall, but in Nigerian Gladiators it's called Mountain. Same rules as other versions of Gladiators, except that the contenders don't have to climb over the top of the wall and instead simply have to touch the top of it with their hands. Again, likely due to the size of the arena and there not being enough space for platforms at the top.
Ha, he should be scared. Well, both contenders doing very well. Who'll get to the top of the mountain first? Oh, that looked like a tie ball game to me. Me too, it looked like a tie.
Next we have Gauntlet, another classic event that had slightly different point scoring in this version of the show. Rather than getting points for completing each zone and the maximum points for making it to the end, instead contenders would get 10 points for reaching the end in under 20 seconds, 5 points for reaching the end in under 30 seconds, and no points for not making it through to the end. A little harsh I felt, as this game can be absolutely brutal and getting no points for your efforts would have been an absolute bummer.
Well, T-Rex is not giving up. Oh my goodness. He gets by. It's just him and Hippo now. If he can get by Hippo, he can get his points, and he does. And he does the roll.
Next, an event we never got in the UK, Shootout. Contenders have 30 seconds to score goals past the gladiator with the 5 balls placed around the arena before attempting to score with their own body, essentially trying to get past the gladiator and into the goal. 2 points for each goal scored, including with their own body. Not the best game really, but nice to see something a little different.
And here comes the body slam. Jaguar grabs her, and she's trying to whip her to the mat, and she does. And she's sitting on top of her opponent, and she will never get out of the grasp of Jaguar.
Nigerian Gladiators also had Powerball, one of the best Gladiators events in my opinion, but it was only played a handful of times in this version of the show. Same rules apply, 60-second time limit, 2 points for scoring in the outside baskets, and 3 points for the middle one. They definitely should have played this more often.
Oh, Faith with ease, breezing past Breeze. Oh, this is definitely not Mary's night here. Oh, Faith is doing phenomenally well, 6 points.
The last regular event that featured in the series was of course Duel. It wouldn't be Gladiators without this, would it? The referee was always quite strict with this game by letting contenders and gladiators know that it's a hitting game and not a pushing game.
Oh, Jaguars against a big girl. Who's going to win this matchup? 30 seconds, and she's... Oh, come on, Mary. You could have given a better fight than that.
Finally, of course, every episode ends with the Eliminator. The course is very similar to the UK version, but there are a couple of differences. Contenders start with the high and low beams, the rope climb, and then the sky ladder, but again, due to the limited space and height of the arena, there's no cargo net climb or zip line. Instead, contenders have to jump down from the sky ladder and then climb up a spider's web. After this, in place of the zip line, contenders have to jump over some high hurdles before going up and over a smaller cargo net. From there, it's the same as the UK version, the balance beam and then the dreaded travelator.
In trouble he didn't, and he's already up the travelator, kid! Oh, Tope does the moonwalk, he does the slide, and he's on his way home!
Here are a few memorable moments from the series. In the very first event of the very first episode of the show, contender Vaughn saved himself on Demolition Run in very dramatic fashion.
Folks, Vaughn has 30 seconds to claim as many points as he can. Oh my goodness, the Spider-Man routine! He's truly phenomenal!
This same episode also saw a very close eliminator in the female competition and Mary fainting at the end after she couldn't get up the travelator.
Emma looks quite confused right now, totally tired. Oh my goodness, she's fainted! I think we need to get the paramedics out here right now. But I know Emma is a fighter and she's done very well. I can safely say she'll be A-OK.
The fifth episode of Round 1 also saw a very dramatic eliminator take place between contenders Keepright and Calvin that was basically neck and neck the entire time, but Keepright was a little faster over the balance beam, giving him a slight edge for the travelator.
Keepright! Cross-finish, Keepright does it! Goodness! Oh, that has shattered the dreams of confident Calvin!
There were quite a few characters among the contenders in this series, but my favorite had to be Ocon Christian Essien, a marathon runner who went by the nickname Stone Cold.
Our next male contender on Shootout is Stone Cold!
He wasn't the biggest contender and had a hard time against some of the larger gladiators, most notably when he, at only 5'3", was pitted against 6'6" gladiator Titanic on Shootout.
When he tried to go for the body slam, he couldn't get through. The big man carrying him like a little kid.
But he made up for it with his super positive attitude and blistering speed, making up a 7.5 second gap to his opponent in the first round eliminator to win.
He takes a deep breath. He's on the travelator. Could it be the biggest upset on MTN Gladiators? Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Stone Cold has shocked the world!
Unfortunately, he would be eliminated in round 2 as his opponent Temitope would prove to be too fast. Temitope would actually go on to be the champion of the whole series, alongside female contender Kathy, who was far stronger than her fellow contenders and won in all 4 episodes she appeared on.
Up the travelator! There she goes! Home, baby! All the way home to the finals!
And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is Nigerian Gladiators. Overall, I really enjoyed watching it. It feels very reminiscent of the UK version, largely because the arena layout is almost identical, just on a slightly smaller scale, which immediately makes it feel familiar. The event selection is solid with a good mix of classics that worked really well in the space that they had, and while Shootout wasn't really my favorite event, it was still interesting to see something a bit different thrown into the mix. Add to that the high energy crowd, the personality of the gladiators and contenders, and the general enthusiasm that runs through the whole series, and it ends up being a genuinely fun watch that I definitely recommend checking out if you're a Gladiators fan. Unfortunately, this would be the only series of Gladiators produced in Nigeria, and there's no clear reason as to why it never returned for a second series. Whether it was down to budget, logistics, ratings, or something else entirely, it's a real shame, because there's a lot to like here. Despite its limitations, the series had a huge amount of energy, a passionate crowd, some genuinely memorable contenders, and a strong lineup of gladiators with plenty of personality. It very much felt like Gladiators at its core, just with its own Nigerian flavor. It may not be the most well-known version of the show, but for fans willing to dig a little deeper into Gladiators history, Nigerian MTN Gladiators is absolutely worth watching, and it stands as a fascinating snapshot of how the format was adapted for a different audience. So while its run was short, Nigerian Gladiators definitely left its mark on the history of the franchise. Many thanks for watching, everyone. As I said, if you've never seen Nigerian MTN Gladiators before, definitely seek out the episodes online and give it a watch. I'll also be covering some of the other international versions of Gladiators on the channel in the future, so stay tuned for those. If you enjoyed this video and the other content here on the channel, a like and subscribe would be amazing. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.